All right, today we'll do a math review. It'll cover all the math lectures, math 1 through 5. So in your readings and tools, it's titled as Chapter 6. So we have no more chapter items, no more topics, no more pharmacy topics, just the math to go over. So Roman numerals, what is SS? Half. Usually there's a line on top. IV? 4. IX? 9, right? So remember you got to subtract if it's a smaller symbol in front. How about XL? Smaller symbol in front. We got a 10 and then a 50. If it's in front, you got to subtract. So 40, yeah. So this would be 10 plus 10 plus 10 plus 5. Yeah. C, how many in a century? 100. So this is 140. XL, same as this one. So we got 100, 200. How many? 200. Yeah. So that's 50, 65. Yeah, very good. So if it's on the left, you have to subtract those units. D is 500. 500, 600, 600, 10, 20, 30. There you go. So that's how you just want to figure out the Roman numerals. Do I make you go back? No. All right, fractions, decimal, percentages as a review. What's the top number called? Numerator. Then the bottom number is the. All right. So from fraction to decimal, you take the top number and you divide it by the bottom number. To go to percentages, you multiply by 100. And to go from percentage back to decimal, you divide by 100. So let's do this one. Let's do 1 divided by 5. What do you guys get? 0.2. Yeah. And then all we have to do is multiply by 100, and you get 20%. Easy peasy, right? So let's do this one. 2 divided by 7. Funnier numbers now. 0.2857142. Alright, I'll just do 3 for room. Times 100, you get 28.5. Right? So don't worry about rounding on these. We're just going over the steps on how to do it. So we went that way times 100, that way times 100. All right, let's do the easy one. Let's times 100 here. 12.5, right? Yeah, 12.5. Now for us to make the fraction, we just look at the last decimal place to find the denominator. So this digit, the 5, is in what decimal place? So we got tens, hundreds, thousands. So the bottom number is going to be 1,000. And just put all the digits on top. And if you need to double check, just punch it in. Do 125 divided by 1,000. And for our class, you don't have to reduce to lowest terms. Just leave it as this. You'll be okay. So it's good? You double checked? Yeah. So good. 125 divided by 1,000. Let's do number 4. 0.925. Yep, 92.5. 5 is in what decimal place? That means what goes on top? 925. Yep, just 925. So good review, not too bad. Let's do a couple more. All right, now we're going back this way. We have to divide by 100. So this would become 0.225, right? So you just move the decimal 1, 2 if you want to. There's no home. And then the 5 is in the thousands. So it's 225 over 1,000. So let's just do this one real quickly. Divide by 100. 0.00015. Alright, so a lot more decimal places. So we got tens, hundreds, thousands, 10,000s, 100,000. And then on top you just put a measly 15. Alright, couple more to go for our review of fractions, decimal percentages. Just remember not to skip decimal anytime I tell you to give me a percentage from a fraction or a fraction from a percentage. Make sure you don't skip the decimal. All right, 2/3 divided by 456 gives you 0.00504. Okay, we'll give a couple numbers. All right, then we'll multiply by 100. That'll give us 5.04%. Yeah, that's it. Number 4, do not get scared. Just do everything like you were taught. So, take 1.25 times 100. What do you get? Yeah, 125%. You're just better than perfect, right? The 5 is in what decimal place? Hundreds. What number goes on top? 125. That's it. Yeah, just double check. Whole numbers only in the fractions. There you go. That's how you would check it. So don't get scared if it's larger than 1. It's just a number. Metric conversions. These are the easy ones, right?
Yes.
So it's either left or right by multiples of 3 only in pharmacy. When you do some MA classes, they might use different prefixes. So this also works for liters and mLs. So you can do liters dot mLs as well. Just put the largest units on the left side. So L for left and largest. That means the smaller units on this side. So we got kilos, grams, milligrams, micrograms. Micrograms to milligrams is 3 spaces to the left. So here's the decimal. I'm just going to move it 1, 2, 3. How would you document this number?
0.05.
Yeah, so make sure you have a 0 in front of the decimal and no trailing zeros. Milligrams to micrograms. This time we are going 3 to the right. Milligrams to micrograms. So we're going to move it 3 spaces, 1, 2, 3, and that just becomes 95. Easy enough. Kilos to grams. So here's kilo going to grams. 3 to the right. So here's the dot. I'm going to move it 1, 2, 3. It's new home. And this one is 125. All right, grams and milligrams. How many spaces, you guys? 3 to the, yeah, 3 right, grams and milligrams. So 1, 2, 3. So I'm going to document that as 450. So far, that was only 3 spaces. Now we're going to move 6 spaces, right? So from micrograms to grams, you pass the milligrams and you go all the way to grams. So that's 3 plus 3 more for a total of 6. So here it is. I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So we get 0.0075. There you go. And lastly, liters and mLs. Going from liters to mLs, it's 3 spaces to the right. So 1, 2, 3. There's its new home. Fill in your zeros. 6,800 mLs. So either multiply by 1,000 or divide by 1,000 when converting within the metric system. How many mLs is a cc? 1. How about a teaspoon? Big spoon.
15.
An ounce?
30.
30. 1 cup?
244.
240. There's 8 ounces in a cup. How about a pint?
480.
16 ounces in a pint. So that means there's 2 cups in a pint. Quart?
960.
So you can always see there's like 2 of these guys. That means there's 4 of these guys. and about 32 of these guys, right? So that's how they relate. And a gallon is,
38.
and 1 liter by definition, milli means 1/1000. So it takes 1,000 little mLs to get a liter. All right, you guys know those by heart? Working on it. How about kilos? 1 kilo is how many pounds?
2.2.
All right, a pound is how many kilos? I didn't give you that one. A pound's how many ounces?
16.
16, yeah.
You confused me.
I was giving you a curveball there. 1 grain, not gram, but grain.
65
Grain. There you go.
65.
So remember, a few weeks ago, you guys kept on thinking it was gram, right? Grain. Dr.
Nope.
Dram.
5.
Dram. Yeah, you're right. 5 mLs.
Okay, no problem. What's the difference? Because I got confused with the teaspoon, but they're equal, so.
Yeah, teaspoon and dram for us, it's the same.
Got it.
Meters, how many centimeters?
100.
Centi means 100. There you go. 1 foot is how many inches?
12.
12 inches. So 1 foot, 12, you do inches, 2 tick marks. 1 inch is how many centimeters? 2.55. Most of these are approximations. This one.
The grade is 1.
65. 1 grain?
No, the grade, like 1 degree.
Oh, okay. So for the hour, like 2 hours, like that.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. So if you do 2 hours, this would be 2 hours after meals. 2 hours PC. So that degree sign is for hours. Yeah, because these that's inches, or that's foot, that's inches, and then there's other tick marks for time as well. So this is gonna be divided by 5 mLs. So how many teaspoon would 150? Yeah. 240. How many mLs in a tablespoon?
15.
Are you gonna multiply or divide? Let me give you a hint. All right, the units cancel out. So how many? 240 divided by 15. 16. 16. All right. Cup. 1 cup is how many mLs?
240.
Are you gonna multiply or divide? Oh, now let's see what happens when you divide. Huh. Cups divided by mLs, do they cancel out?
No.
So what are you gonna do? You're gonna multiply. All right, so what's 5 times 240?
1,200.
Yep, 1,200 mL. All right. So that was 1 step. So this, we're gonna have to do a 2-step. But the second step is metric. So we gotta go from pints to mLs first, and then it is a metric conversion to go from mLs to liters. So a pint is how many mLs?
480.
Do you multiply or divide?
Gotta multiply first.
Yeah, you gotta multiply. Multiply by 480. All right, so now we're in mLs. How do we go from mLs to liters? 3 spaces to the left, right? Or that would just be divide by 1,000. So take 3.5 times 480 divided by 1,000.
1680.
You got 6.
It's 1.68.
What'd you get?
68.
1.68 liters? No, that's all right. What'd you get? 1.68? Okay, yeah, 1.68. Oh, I was thinking quarts, sorry. Yeah, you're right. 1.68 liters. Yeah, that works. That checks out. Gallons to ounces? Guess what our intermediate unit's going to be? mLs, right?
mLs.
So a gallon's how many mLs?
3840.
3840.
But it's half.
And then an ounce is how many mLs?
30.
30. So you do 0.5 times 3840 divided by 30. Yep, half a gallon is 64 ounces. So 1 step, 2 step, that's probably as far as you'll go on the final. Pounds to kilos. Do you multiply or divide? Pounds to kilos. What's the conversion factor? 1 kilo is?
Oh, okay.
1 kilo is how many pounds? 2.2 pounds. So you're going to multiply or divide by 2.2 pounds? Let's see what happens when we multiply.
Numbers on the bottom divide.
No, the units need to cancel out.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you put the number on top and multiply, it doesn't matter. You got to put it in the right place. So you got to look at the units. Always look at the units. If you're going to multiply pound square, I have no idea what pound square is. But if pounds divided by pound, that's going to cancel out. Alright, now 75 kilos is how many pounds? Do you multiply or divide? Let's see what happens when we divide by 2.2 pounds. What's kg divided by pounds? I have no idea what that is. So you're gonna multiply, right? So it's the same pattern, guys. You guys gotta pick it up by now. This is review. Week 4 review. We did this in week 2. So 75 times 2.2 is 165. So these two are one and the same. Grain. What's the conversion factor? 1 grain. 65. Are you going to multiply or divide by 65? No, let's see what happens when we divide by 65 milligrams.
Oh, I lied.
Does
Multiply.
grain and milligrams
Sorry.
cancel out?
Multiply.
No, right? So you got to multiply by 65. So if you're still in doubt when to multiply or when to divide, go back and view Math 2. Right?
1625.
625? There you go. 25 times 65 milligrams. 200 grains is how many kilograms? What do you have to convert to first? Milligrams, right? And then milligrams a kilo. Kilo dot grams dot milligrams dot micrograms. So you're gonna have to go from milligrams to kilo. So 2,065 milligrams. Do you multiply or divide? Yep. Multiply by 65. And then you move it 6 spaces that way, which means to divide by 3 plus 3 more. So 2,000 times 65 divided by a million. And that'll give you your kilo.
0.13.
Yeah, small amount. Small amount. Kilo. 5. What can we convert feet to? Yeah, we got to go from inches, and then from inches to centimeter. All right, 1 foot, how many inches?
12.
Multiply or divide? Multiply, right? So there are 12 inches per foot.
60.
And then inches to centimeters. Do you multiply or divide? Multiply. So it's 5 times 12 times 2.54.
152.4.
152?
Yes.
Oh, 152.5. There you go. Alright. Be familiar with your metric conversions. More practice you guys have, the easier it'll get. You'll start to recognize what conversions you have. All right, let's do the temperatures real quickly. So always start with the same equation. 9C equals 5F minus 160. So for this one, anytime you see a C, we're going to plug in 40. All right, let's simplify that one. Then to get F by itself, we got to add 160 to this side. That means we got to add 160 to this side. So this becomes 5F. This becomes a gigantic number. Yep, 520. And then to get F by itself, we divide both sides by 5. 104. All right, one more Celsius to Fahrenheit. This time we're going to plug in 65. So we got 9 times 65 equals 5F minus 160. What is 9 times 65? 585 equals 5F minus 160. Let's add 160 to both sides.
745.
Equals 5F. And then we just divide by 5. Very good.
And then 149.
Still too hot. 40 degrees is hot. 65 degrees is death. 3 and 4, now we're going to go the opposite. We're going to plug in the F value. So 9C equals 5 times F, which is 99 for number 3, minus 160.
495.
So 5 times 99 is 495, minus 160. 335, I believe. And then you divide both sides by 9. C equals 335 divided by 9. 37.2.
Yeah, it's a lot of twos after that.
Okay, yeah, that's about right. Don't worry too much about rounding on these. So if you're in the ballpark, 37.2, that's good. All right, one more. Let's do number 4 up here. So this time we have 9C equals 5 times 120 minus 160. 9C equals at 600 minus 160. 440, and then we divide both sides by 9.
You got 48.88888. Would you do 48 now?
Yeah.
Alright.
That's enough. So, just one equation. Just learn how to plug and chug either way. All right, order and supply. Easy, right? Either you just do order over supply, but make sure everything is in the same units. Order over supply times the amount if the dosing unit is anything different than 1. So for this example, what's our order?
50 milligrams.
Our order is 50 milligrams, and our supply is
50 milligrams.
so all we need to deliver is 1. Right? So it just takes 1. The second one, what's our order? 50 milligrams. What's the supply?
25 milligrams.
So that means we need to deliver 2 tablets. And lastly, the order is still 50. But this time our supply comes 100. So we would administer
0.5.
Yep, 1/2 of a tablet. So the doctor may or may not know what supply you have, but you have to fill the order. Alright. This time,
Conversion.
yeah, they're not in the same units. Well, let's convert the grams into milligrams. 1 gram is how many milligrams? 1,000. Yeah. 1 level, so 3. Now it makes it easier. Now we can do order, 500 milligrams, over the supply, which is 1,000 milligrams. And our units cancel, so we're happy. So we need to administer
0.5.
half a tablet. Alright, half a gram. How many milligrams is that?
500
Yep, 500 times 1,000, right? Now we're in the same units. Our order is 250. And our supply is 500. Yep. Yep, half a tablet again. For this next one, let's change the order to micrograms. So 0.125 is 125 mcgs. So I like using whole numbers. It makes it easier for me. So we got an order of 125 micrograms with a supply of 250 micrograms.
0.5.
Yeah, so it's all half tablets. But you got to know how to convert to deliver the order. Order over supply times the amount. So when the dosing unit is not per one tablet, 1 ml, then you just have to multiply by that amount. So here our amount is going to be 5. So make sure your units cancel out. 250 is our order. 250 is our supply per 5 ml. So we would need to deliver 5 ml. So for the next one, our order 375, and our supply is 125 per 15 ml. So the milligrams cancel out. We're happy. So this would require 45 mLs worth. 375 divided by 125 times 15. Yeah, this one's easy. We're going back to order over supply. 300 divided by 40. This is just a 1. How many is that? 7.5 mLs. There you go. So not too bad. Order over supply. Alright, so this guy, the units are not the same. So 2 grams is 2,000 milligrams. So let's do 400 divided by 2,000. Let's put our units so we don't forget. Times 5 ml. 1? All that work for just 1 ml? Yeah, it is. Pretty crazy. Everything else canceled out. Alright, let's change this guy to 2,000. So we need 2,000 milligrams. Our supply comes 500 milligrams per 10 mLs. You got how many? 40? 40 mLs. And this guy, let's change him. 1,500. Right? Orders 1,500 milligrams. Supply is 250. That's just per one. So 6 mLs. Shortcut again. Oh yeah. It's okay. No, it's just step by step. The more you see them, you'll be able to recognize what to do. Because right now there's a lot of different problems, and for you guys, it's probably like, what do I do? How do I do this? Once you identify how to do it, it's pretty easy. All right, we're QSing now. We got to figure out how much to dispense for the required day's supply. So the first step is just order and supply. Once you get the order and supply, you're going to multiply by the number of doses per day and then multiply by the number of days, right? That's it. So for this one, it's just order over supply. So 25 milligrams over 25 milligrams. That equals just one tab, right? How many times a day do they take that one tablet? 4. For 30 days. So that's it. One tablet per dose times 4 times 30 for a QS of 120. So we'll give them 120 for that 30-day supply. Same. First step, order over supply times the amount. So we got 125 milligrams. So your order now is in the SIG. So it may look a little reverse, but you gotta read where it's labeled. And our supply is 125 milligrams per 5 mLs. So it's just 5 mLs. So how many times a day BID? And this is going to be for 10 days. So we need to dispense 100 mLs. Yeah. What does and mean in math? 1 and 2 and 3, it means add, right? So before we multiply, we're going to have to add, right? So our tablets are 50 milligrams. How many tablets in the morning are you going to take?
1.
Yeah, 50 milligrams is our order. Our supply is 50. So that's just one tablet. So it's one tablet. But at night, how many tablets are we going to take? So the order is 100. Supply is still 50. So at night, it's going to be 2. So what's 1 plus 2?
3.
For 30 days. So how many would they need?
90.
90. Right. 1 plus 3, 3 times 30. Yeah, there you go. So don't short them. They're going to come back
Okay.
in 20 days and say, I'm done. Right.
And that's your
Yeah, we tried it.
There's our order.
125.
250 milligrams. Our supply comes 125 milligrams per 15. How much per dose? You calculated 30. How many doses in a day? TID?
3.
For 2 weeks. 120 ml. Yep. Yep. That's how much we'd give them. Yeah, they're doing a lot. They're doing 45 a day for 14 days. All right, did you make your flashcards for these definitions? What does D stand for? Dextrose. And then the number just tells you the percentage. So 5% water, 5% dextrose in water. That's what the W is for. And then D70 is 70%. NS, what's the strength of NS? 0, 0.9. So what's half of 0.9?
0.44.
0.45. And then what's half of that? About 0.22. They rounded down to 0.22. And then sterile water for injection has how much stuff in it? They're better be nothing in it, right? Just water. So be familiar because those numbers we're going to use for alligation. All right, percent solution. So super easy. All you got to do is take the mLs times the percentage. Do you guys have a percent button?
Yes.
Okay, good. So this is your ml. Do 100. And then click times 5. And then push your percent button. That's it. 5. Good. Now do the next one. Do 100 times 10. And then push the percent button.
10.
Yeah. Very easy, right? So anytime we're dealing with 100 mLs, what does percent mean?
100.
Per 100. So anytime we're dealing 100 mLs, it's easy. You don't have to do any math. Whatever the strength is, that's how many grams there are in that 100 mLs. But do we always use 100 mLs? No. So we got to use the equation. mLs times percent equals grams. Make sure you're in what units? mLs. That means your answer is going to come out in grams. Right? So that's a simplified equation, but you have to use those units. So you might have to convert to mLs. All right, 500 times 10%. Punch that in. What do you guys get? Punch it in. 500 times 10 and then the percent button. 50 grams, yep. So for number 2, take the mLs times the 25 and then push the percent button. What do you get? 37.5, yeah. And then lastly, you do it the same way. 75 mLs. What is half NS? 0.45. Push your percent button. 0.34 grams. That's grams. Yeah. That's not that many. Yeah, about 75 mLs. You get up a third gram of salt. That's about right. Here we got 250 this time. Multiply by 24.3. And then your percent button. Yeah. Super easy, right? mLs times percent gives you grams. Now we're going to have to go backwards. So we're going to make a fraction. Grams over mLs. You have to be in grams and mLs. Then we're going to multiply by 100. And then that gives us percentage, right? Looks familiar? Numerator divided by denominator times 100 gives you percentage. So this is exactly where it comes from. But you must be in the units of grams and mLs.
This is only for solutions, right?
Yeah, for solutions. So we have 100 mLs. Do we have to do any math? No. So what percentage is it? 25 grams out of 100. So how many grams do you get out of 100 of? 0.75. So that's 0.75%. So that's the advantage of dealing with 100 mLs, but we don't always use 100 mLs. So let's make our fraction. 35 to 35 times 100 to give us percentage. 2 grams in 139 mLs. Zero point 1.43? 1.43. Yeah. Yeah, whatever about it. 2 divided by 139 times 100. Yeah, about 1.5%. All right. What's your fraction here for number 1?
360 divided by 250.
Yeah. So you're going to get 100 and...
Yep.
How much? 140?
144.
144%. So that's way more than capacity. Is that possible? Yeah, if you superheat up your solution, you might be able to squeeze it all in there. Kilo, how many grams is that? 0.1 kilo. Kilograms, dot, grams. So, how many grams is 0.1 kilo? 100. Yeah, 100 grams. The volume is 850 mLs times 100 to get your percentage. 11.78?
Well, 76.
Yeah, that's good. 7.6. Yeah, close enough. So about 11.8. Oh, here we gave grams. I like the grams. But now the mLs we got to change to, or liters we got to change to mLs. So liters dot mLs. 3 spaces to the right. So that's going to be 1250 mLs. And then times 100 to get to percentage. What do you get?
3.8.
3.84. You guys got that? Yeah.
Yeah, I got it again.
24. Yeah. Ooh, pounds and quarts. Let's skip this one. You won't see anything like this. This was just an exercise in conversion. Alright. Weight dependent dosing. So, what's the first step? Pounds divided by 2.2 to get you into kgs, right? Because everything is based on body weight in kgs. So if it's already in kgs, just use the kg value. So B, right? The next step is once you find the body weight in kilograms, you're going to then multiply by the order per kilogram. I'll just call it the order. Right? That's going to give you the daily amount. Now, if a drug is a little toxic, they may split up the doses in divided doses. So you just divide it by the number of doses per day. And that's going to give you your per dose amount, which is also your order. And then D, you just do order over supply times the amount if required. So let's do this problem. You guys took 165 pounds divided by 2.2. What was your answer? 2.2. Yep, 75 kgs. All right. Once you get the kgs, you're going to multiply by the order. So what is the order? Yeah, 2. So you're only going to get 150. That's it. So for this one, it's only one dose. So for letter C, it's the same. You're getting it all at once. So what's our order? 150. Right? So that's where we got it. And then our supply comes 50. So how many mLs do we need to deliver? So it would just be 3 mLs. So just 3. Just 3 mL. Yeah. So first step, pounds to kilos. Second step, multiply by the order. Third, divide by doses, and then order and supply. All right, kilos. 230 divided by 2.2. What do you get? Let's do 105. Make it easy on ourselves. All right, we got the kilos. 105 kgs. What's our next step? Yep, multiply by the order. In this case, it's 10 milligrams. So they need 1,050 milligrams per day. All right, so how much drug would you give them?
About 500 milligrams per milliliter.
Yeah, so change that to 500 milligrams. So your order is 1050. Your supply is 500. Yeah, about 2.1 mLs to deliver. Pounds to kilos, kilos times order, and then order and supply. All right, this time we're going to be in divided doses. So we started the same, 135 divided by 2.2. It's going to yield 65? 60?
61.3.
Okay, we'll round off to 61. I like 61 better. 61 kilos. So once we get the kilos, we're then going to multiply by the order, which is 5. That's going to be 3.5. That's the daily amount, right? But we're not going to give it to them all at once. So we're going to divide by 2 doses. 152.5. Yep. So that's our order. How does our supply come? Per 25 milligrams per 5. So order is 152.5 milligrams. The supply comes 25 milligrams per 5 mLs. Order over supply times the amount. Alright, so your final answer, how many mLs per dose? 30.5 mLs. Alright, one last one. Well, 2 more. We'll do the percentage and the ratio. So anytime you have a percentage, what does percent mean? Of 100. So whatever number you get, that's going to be that many grams per 100 mLs. Because percent means per 100. So we're going to use the grams and mLs, units again. So 5%, what does 5% mean to you? 5 grams for every 100 mLs. Right? 5 grams for every 100. All right, step A. We got 210 lbs, and we need to divide by 2.2. How many kilos is the patient? Okay, about 95. We'll use 95. Make our lives easier. We got 95 kgs. How much drug per kilogram of body weight? 10. 10 milligrams per kilogram of body weight. So this is the amount of milligrams per day. In this case, it's just 1 dose. So this is B and C. So our last step is to use our newly converted percentage. 5 grams per 100 mLs. Order is 950. The supply comes 5,000 milligrams per 100 mLs. Yep, so it'd be 19. So pounds to kilos multiplied by the order, and then percentage. Now you know whatever number you have, that's the number of grams per 100 ml. The ratio, yeah, this is the ratio, and then we'll take a break. This percentage one, take a break. So what does 10% mean to you?
10 grams of 100
All right, so let's see, 190. 190 divided by 2.2. What do you guys get?
86.3.
86.3. All right, let's do 86. 86 kgs. We'll time the order, which, ooh, half a gram. That's crazy. All right.
43.
43 grams. All right. Now we have to divide it in 4 doses.
So 10.75. But wait, there's more.
All right. So that's our order. And then that is our supply. So we do order. 10.75 grams over, we're in grams, so we're good. They cancel out. 10 grams per 100 ml. So a little bit over 100 ml. 107.5. All right, let's go ahead and take a break, and then we'll work on the week 4, day 1, and then whatever we don't finish, we'll work on it on Wednesday.